Today, guys, we're going to be going over my honest opinion on what I think of the most recent update in GTA Online. We're going to be talking about what I liked and what I didn't like, and I want to see if you guys agree with me on anything I say. So obviously a lot of stuff has changed. We're able to purchase police vehicles now. I just ran over a homeless man. There's a new business that came out. There's a tow truck. We can tow cars around. There's drift races. There's a new 100-car garage. Lots of other vehicles have been added, 12 on release and 7 in the drip feed. Plus minor changes to things like the interaction menu and other little things as well. So let's kick things off by talking about the new business. So let's talk about what I like. First off, the tow truck. I love doing that shit. It's a bunch of fun. You go around, you grab a car, you bring it back, takes about 40 minutes to be salvaged, and then you get between $30,000 and $40,000. Can't really complain about that. It's just a fun little thing to do. You can only do 2 vehicles at a time, and then you're not allowed to use the tow truck again until those vehicles have been salvaged and scrapped for parts. And then the missions. They are a ton of fun to do. Some things surprised me during the missions, like when I walked into a room, I was expecting to just, vibe with the Duggins, but instead they all turned around and sprayed me down instantly, which wasn't my favorite thing in the whole world. But when it comes down to it, it was honestly a lot of fun. And then when we talk about what I don't like about this new business, once again, starting with the tow truck, the fact that we can't just drive it around normally. If I were to take it out right now, I have to start up one of the tow truck missions. I was really excited for the tow truck to come into the game, where I could just go around the city, pick up a random NPC's car, and then just drag it along wherever I felt like it. It also would have been cool if we could do the thing that we did in story mode, where we have to go and impound vehicles, just as a little side thing you could do with the tow truck. Since you bought it, you should have full access to it, instead of only being able to use it for one thing and one thing only. And I also thought we'd be able to take the tow truck out during the tow truck missions and pick up cars then, and then I could have my fun. But sadly, it does not allow you to pick up any other cars other than the one that you're supposed to pick up, which I also wasn't super excited about. So yeah, the tow truck is still fun. And when I'm done this video, I'm probably going to go and pick up some more cars. Or actually, I'm doing a live commentary. I might as well do it right after we leave this business. But first, I have to talk about the missions. So I completed these fairly quickly. It really didn't take that long. The one that took the longest was obviously going to be the Omaggio. It took me about 57 minutes to do that. I also picked up 2 vehicles with the tow truck during that time, so it probably took me about 40 minutes in total, including the finale. The Gauntlet Hellfire and the BF Weevil went by really quick, but when I finished them all, I was expecting for 3 new missions to pop up, and then they didn't pop up. And then I woke up today thinking, okay, you know what, maybe every 24 hours we'll be able to do new missions. Still not out. So I'm assuming what's going to end up happening is we'll be able to do new missions every week. Every event week, there's going to be 3 new ones. I'm not 100% sure about that, but that's what I'm thinking. And I'm not a huge fan of that because that is the prime source of income from this business. Of course, you can just go drive around in your tow truck and pick up vehicles, but I mean, this is kind of like the side hustle. Like, for example, with the custom auto shops, your main thing to do is the contracts. And you're able to do contracts as much as you want. And then your side hustle is repairing customers' cars, and then also exotic exports. But with this new business, you're kind of limited. Once you complete those missions, all you can then do with this business is drive around with this tow truck, and every 40 minutes or so, you'll be able to pocket about $70,000 to $80,000, which obviously isn't great, so I'm not super happy about that. And then when it came to actually selling or salvaging the vehicle off that we got from the mission, I sold 2 of them off, and I got my money extremely quickly. Exactly what I was told I would get. I delivered them both perfectly since NPCs don't chase after you, which was great, but then I decided to salvage off the Gauntlet Hellfire. Scrap it for parts, and I thought maybe we'll be able to get just a bit more money from doing this. Somebody had to test it out, right? So I decided to, and I sat there and I waited, and then I got bored of waiting, so then I went and did the BF Weevil mission. I also went and sourced a couple more vehicles with my tow truck, and they all got salvaged off before the Gauntlet Hellfire got salvaged off. So then I was just confused. After about 2 hours and 20 minutes, once I dropped the vehicle off at my shop, it was salvaged for exactly what it said it would be salvaged for, $272,000. Now I know that's exactly what it said it would be for, but I thought there was a chance you might be able to make some more money off of it, especially since it took 2 hours and 20 minutes for that thing to get scrapped for parts. You would just think you'd be able to make a lot more money from it, considering it takes triple, almost quadruple the amount of time it takes for a normal vehicle to be scrapped for parts. So I'm not super happy about that. In the future, I am never salvaging a vehicle again from one of those missions, unless they decide to change it up and say minimum amount you can make is $272K. The max amount, you never know. It depends on the upgrades the vehicle has. So it would have been nice if that was changed up a bit. When it comes to the business in general, I definitely think it could have been improved on a lot by letting us drive around the tow truck freely since we purchased it, instead of only allowing us to use it during the missions. Also, allowing us to do more of the main missions more frequently. Like, imagine the same thing happened with the custom auto shop. You could only do 3 contracts per week or something like that. That would be terrible. Everybody would hate it. And with these missions being your main source of income, the business just isn't that profitable on a daily basis. Yeah, every week, if that's when the missions will be coming out, you can make a bunch of money on the day of. But then once they're done, all you could do is these tow truck missions, and the money is good, but it's definitely not great. You can make much more money from a lot of other places. When it comes down to it though, I definitely think the business could have been improved a lot. Now let's talk about some other stuff. Drift racing. I think this is awesome. There's a lot of vehicles that were able to put drift kits on, like the ZR350, the Ennis Euros, the Jester RR, the new FR36, and a couple more. When I've done the drift races, I actually didn't do terrible. Drift racing is one of my favorite things to do in the Crew 2. That's my favorite racing game, and I would do drift races all the time. In GTA 5, it kind of just feels more of like a sketchy version of that, but it still feels pretty much the exact same. The controls are very easy. It takes literally no skill. All you do is just keep going back and forth, and just keep that multiplier going, and you get a really high amount of points. Getting a full lobby together with a bunch of people, it would honestly be a ton of fun to do that. There really isn't anything bad to say about drift racing. Like, it's pretty much perfect. It's easy to do, and I'm glad they finally decided to add it to the game. I'd say that's definitely one of the best parts about this update if you love drifting. Plus, of course, the cars are fitted with drift kits, so you could just drift around in free mode as much as you want. When it comes to the new vehicles that were added, that's also a hit out of the park. We got a convertible Camaro, we got a convertible Mustang GT, which looks awesome, by the way. We got a brand new Ferrari, we got a new SUV, I think it's a Ford Expedition or a Ford Explorer, also pretty nice. Either way though, we got 12 new vehicles on the day this update came out, which is great. And then 7 are coming out in the drip feed. I'm assuming it's going to take them a very long time to release them all. Most likely by like April, we'll be receiving the final vehicle or something like that. But one thing I do know is we're going to be getting that big holiday truck, most likely on the event week when it's Christmas. So I'm really hyped for that. I don't know what the purpose of it's going to be, but I just want to drive it around because it looks kind of cool. The vehicles are pretty great. And the ones that are coming out are nice, like the Jeep and the new Cadillac we're getting, and the Gauntlet Hellfire police car. Like, bro, they're all pretty dope. And I'm hoping that Gauntlet Hellfire also has upgrades like the regular cop cruiser that we got. Now, when it comes to the cop cruisers, I don't really care that we can't do much with them in terms of actual missions and stuff like that. I'm just glad we're able to actually purchase them now. But I hope in the future, they allow us to actually do stuff with them. Like how when you become a taxi driver, you can go around and pick people up and drop them off at point A to point B. Now, obviously, being a police officer would be a lot different, but it would be cool if we could pull people over, or maybe we honk our horn and then we're on shift and we could pull up to different locations or help in high-speed chases and stuff like that. It would be cool. But I mean, I want to see that for many things, not just cop cars. It would be cool if we could do the same thing as a garbage man or as a trucker. Stuff like that would just be fun. Little things here and there. But when it comes down to it, I'm just glad we were finally able to purchase these things and that they got upgrades as well. And I did not mean to drive back inside of my shop. Like, look how sick this thing looks. I'm assuming this is what the police cars are going to be like in GTA 6, and I'm really hoping a lot of the cars that are coming out in future updates are going to be in GTA 6. I'm just kind of excited about everything right now. But either way, when it comes to this update, at the end of the day, the prime thing for the update, the business, I think could have been improved a lot. It's a great concept. It's just we don't have as much freedom as we have with other businesses. Like if they made the tuner shops like that, everybody would have hated it. It would have been terrible. So it would be nice to have more freedom, being able to do as many of those missions as we wanted to, whenever we wanted, being able to actually make a lot of money instead of having to wait a very long time to do those missions, which of course is the prime way that you make money from the business, instead of just doing the one side hustle you can do with it. And of course, I really just want to drive that tow truck around in free mode. There's probably going to be a glitch to bring it out of your garage eventually, and then you can go and mess around with it. But at the end of the day, it would have been nice and the business could have been improved. All other aspects of the update, though, I think are pretty great. The cars are nice, drift racing is awesome, and if you're a GTA Plus member, you got some pretty decent stuff as well. And in terms of the little things that they've done, like adding animals back to the game, that's also pretty awesome. Let me know what you guys think of this down below in the comment section. I'm just curious to see what you think of the update and what you think of the business and pretty much all aspects of it. And do you agree with me on what I said about the business when you compare it to other businesses we've gotten in the game? Let me know down below. But anyways, that's my opinion on the update. I think it could have been a bit better when it comes to the business, but everything else is pretty damn awesome. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And with that said, I will catch you guys in the next one.